who is Vince Staples really? A comedian with bars?
Tom Cruise is underrated.
Why?
Because the mission was impossible. And he pulled it off.
A gangster-turned philosopher? He never wanted fame, he never wanted to rap, he just wanted to be effing regular. But honesty made him one of hip-hop's most unpredictable voices. This is the paradox of Vince Staples. The Vince Staples story begins with an irony that would define his entire worldview. Born in Compton, his mother moved the family to North Long Beach to escape the city's notorious crime rates. It was supposed to be a step up, a move towards safety. Instead, they landed in the Ramona Park neighborhood, a place where, despite the suburban layout, gang culture was just as pervasive. It was a lateral move into the same set of problems, and it taught a young Vince a crucial lesson. Sometimes, the game is rigged no matter where you are on the board. He once said, if your dad's a mechanic, you're probably going to be a mechanic. Well, my parents were gangbangers. His connection to the streets wasn't a choice, it was an inheritance. My whole family was gang members, he said. I never knew what I wanted to do besides that. His father was in and out of jail, trying to provide the only way he knew how. His mother worked tirelessly, meaning Vince and his siblings often had to raise themselves. This wasn't a life he glorified, it was just life. But in this harsh environment, a young Vince was an anomaly. His mother described him as the curious and quiet child, a straight-A student with a photographic memory. He was winning writing words and studying late into the night. And his dream? It wasn't to be a rap star or a kingpin. He was captivated by family movies like Beethoven and Small Soldiers. He says, my whole life I wanted a job in an office. That was my perception of what being okay was. This deep desire for normalcy is the secret key to his entire persona. His cynicism, his detachment from fame, it all stems from a yearning for a simple, stable life that was systematically denied to him. The violence wasn't an abstract concept from a movie, it was a daily reality. Vince has said, my friends have been getting killed since I was 14 or 15. His constant proximity to death shaped his worldview, leading him to reject easy comforts like religion, which he saw as an excuse to avoid brutal truths. This was the world that forged him, a quiet observer in a loud world, a boy dreaming of suburbia from the heart of Ramona Park. Vince never wanted to be a rapper. His plan was simple: play sports, go to college, get a degree, and get out. He enrolled in a majority white high school in a different city trying to find a different path. But that path was cut short. At 13, he was falsely accused in an incident involving a stolen phone. Despite witnesses vouching for his innocence, the school administration, armed with a file absurdly labeled him as an active gang leader, saw their chance. The charges were eventually dropped, but only on the condition that he leave the school for good. If you're enjoying this breakdown so far, let YouTube know by hitting that like and subscribe button. Now, let's get back to the video. The path to college, that office job, was now closed. He dropped out of high school, his future foreclosed by a system that had already decided who he was. Adrift, he started hanging around friends who were making music. Not out of passion, but simply because it was something to do. This led to a chance meeting with Sid the Kid, the engineer for the provocative LA rap collective Odd Future. He started hanging out at her home studio, befriending a young Earl Sweatshirt. He had no intentions of rapping, but he ended up dropping a guest verse on Earl's now classic mixtape.
Black Ted Bundy, sick as John Gacy, chilling with a possible victim, she was 18.
While Earl was famously sent away to Samoa, Odd Future's fanbase exploded. In their search for anything connected to the absence prodigy, they found Vince Staples. He had an audience, completely by accident, but the most important accident has yet to come. After Earl returned, he brought Vince to a recording session at Mac Miller's home studio. Mac, producing under the alias Larry Fisherman, immediately saw the raw talent and took Vince under his wings. This was more than a feature, it was a life-changing mentorship. Mac produced Vince's breakout mixtape, Stolen Youth. He would personally drive to Long Beach to pick up Vince from his grandmother's house for sessions. He patiently taught him the fundamentals of the craft, how to project his voice, how to write the beat, the purpose of a metronome. Vince says, he changed my life and made me a better person.
They didn't change the way I thought about life. He changed my life, like my perspective, and made me a better person.
Mac's generosity was boundless. He gave Vince complete ownership of the music they made together, asking for nothing in return. He then took him on tour, covered all his expenses, and still paid him a salary. At a time when Vince was disillusioned and ready to quit music for good, Mac Miller provided a real alternative. He didn't just give him a cosign, he gave him a craft, a career, and a second chance. Vince Staples had to figure out how to navigate the absurd world of fame. His solution? A persona built on radical, unblinking honesty, delivered with a deadpan weight that functions as both a shield and a scalpel. His humor isn't just for laughs. It's a defense mechanism. It disarms interviewers and deconstructs the meaningless questions of the media circuit. He participates in the industry while simultaneously mocking its conventions.
We have enlarged product because product is important. Make sure they see that logo right there into the camera.
This attitude is rooted in a deep disdain for the performance of celebrities. He sees music as a job, not a calling. Fame is just an inconvenient byproduct. He's especially critical of the smoking mirrors in hip-hop, where artists fake wealth to project an image of success. Vince sidesteps this pressure by simply not caring. And in 2018, he turned his philosophy into a brilliant piece of performance art. In response to online critics, he launched a GoFundMe campaign with a simple offer. Donate $2 million to fund his early retirement and he would shut the forever. Or in his words, get the F off my. It was a satirical masterpiece, mocking fans' entitlement and the idea that an audience's opinion should dictate art. The campaign raised just over $2,000. But then came the final twist. Vince canceled the fundraiser, refunded the money, and then announced that he would personally match the amount and donate it all to Michelle Obama Neighborhood Library in his hometown of Long Beach. In a move, he just turned a cynical joke into a genius act of community care. It proved his cynicism isn't just for show. It's a critical tool he uses to expose absurdity and ultimately to do some good. This entire persona is distilled in his music. He's not a gangster rapper because he doesn't glorify the violence. He's not a conscious rapper, a label he finds reductive. He's a witness, a stenographer of his reality. On his debut Summertime '06, he immediately confronts the dynamics of his audience, not as an attack, but as an observation to make people think. North paints a vivid, chillingly routine picture of his life in North Long Beach. On 2017's Big Fish Theory, he turned the same observational lens onto the surreal world of fame, relentlessly questioning the materialistic cliches of rap stardom. The album's central conflict, and perhaps the thesis of his entire career, is captured on the track Party People. He asks, how am I supposed to have a good time when death and destruction is all I see? It's a definitive statement of a man living in two worlds at once, unable to reconcile the celebration of his success with the trauma that still defines his perspective. The authenticity of Vince Staples isn't found in a simple, marketable image. It's found in his unwavering commitment to the contradictions that define him. He's the quiet, straight-A student who was born into gang life, the accidental artist who became a meticulous creator, the celebrated rapper who remains a perpetual outsider, the cynic who performs profound acts of community care. His persona isn't a mask he puts on, it's a necessary adaptation, a way to stay sane in a world that rarely makes sense. He doesn't offer any easy answers because his life has taught him that there aren't any. In the end, the answer to the question, who is Vince Staples, is that he is sum of all conflicting parts. A willingness to put that complex truth on display, unvarnished and uncompromised, is the ultimate source of his authenticity. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more in-depth hip-hop breakdowns. And hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. I'll catch you next time.